Hello, this is episode 8 of building Bread.li, and to start off, I made a mistake in the last one because, I made a number of mistakes. Firstly, I was editing the wrong JSON file. I was editing this one, which is the Bourbon Bauer.json file, which was silly. I think it did work, but it wasn't the right place to put it. I should be putting it in the main Bauer.json file, so you can put in the overrides. But I didn't. And so now I did, and I did put it in, and I think I moved it over just after the video stopped recording, and just tried it out. And then if you look now, I just before I started recording, I did get status, and yes, the other mistake, which was I did not change the folder directory in which our files were going to, and it's added them all into the wrong directory. It shouldn't be going into SCSS, it should be going into SASS, which is the one directory we're not tracking. So this is right, and this is wrong. All of these in here. And that is because I didn't change the stuff in the gulp file. Now what I'm going to do is just delete this. Just looking in the thing to make sure I'm right. And that gets rid of a load of files. So let's do git status again. There's a lot less going on in here. So what we'll do is I'm going to commit what I can, because we just need to get it in the right directory. We just need to clean stuff up, and then we can press on. So what we need to do is let's check on GitHub what we have got. We've got an SCSS file which does not work, but it's got the ones that we committed and pushed. Also I added the 2 iframes from the 2 previous episodes. This morning, and I just added the iframes in, and I did it through GitHub. And if you look in here at episode 6 and 7, and then what I did was a pull request. So if we switch over to GitHub pages, the last commit will be merge pull request. And what happened was it added in all the Bourbon stuff in the wrong directory, and all the barrel components that we put in from the last one, but just in the wrong directory, which is what we got up to. So it's okay. It's okay. We can get on. We can get on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just looking to see which ones I can commit in a clean manner. So what we can do is we can do git add, and we'll do git add underscore SCSS, and we're gonna. It doesn't make any sense that we're adding stuff that's being deleted, but we're adding this file's change history to the commit. So we're adding the their change in their life, which is their end. So we're going to add that, and then we're also going to add when we can chain these files together, sas dot. So that means that we're adding both of them. So git status again, and this is clever. This is git being smart, and it goes, so you just changed the directory. You didn't delete it. You moved it from one place to the other. So we've done that very nicely. So we've just added both directories, and it's gone, it's just been renamed. So let's do that. So git commit m, and the message is change styles directory name. Lovely, very tidy. And we'll do another git status, and we've got our config file. So let's do git diff and then config. Okay, yeah, we added our config. I advise not to do what I'm doing here, which is basically committing stuff that I did yesterday. I left it at that endpoint because I wanted to show this stuff again in this episode, but I would recommend when you've finished coding, you commit and push it, because remembering stuff like this is difficult when you have a lot more fiddling around with. In my eyes, this doesn't seem like very complicated stuff. So it's just moving a couple of things, and I can run through stuff. Despite that, you can do a pretty good job with doing git diff and git status and picking apart differences. I mean, that's the whole point of Git. It shows the difference between the previous and the version that you've got. Okay, so we added the gulp file to the config. So let's do git commit config, and the message will be adds gulp file.js to list of ignored files from Jekyll. Cool. Something else we've got there is that Bower file. So let's do git diff Bower. And we've added some overrides in, so we're targeting it. We can commit this. No, let's not commit that just yet, because we're going to press on with that stuff. We have got the CSS file or folder, and that's got our Sass file in there. No, let's not commit those. Let's move on with these. In fact, I can use this file to explain what my plan is, and my plan is to put these into separate directories. So they're like that. Now, this does look a bit silly where you've got Bourbon/Bourbon, but we're going to have a directory of Bourbon inside our Sass directory, and that will mean that everything from Bourbon will be in one folder, and the same for Neat, because there's loads of top level stuff that's going on, and we need them all, but we don't we don't want them all floating around in the same directory, because it's just going to look like a mess. So we've got this, and we're going to have, we've got this one in here. So this one's like fine because we just pulled this in ourselves, and that's fine. In fact, did we, we committed that. Untracked files, git add. So did we commit the stuff? Oh God, there's a mess from before. Anyway, let's not dwell on whether we committed stuff correctly. We shall get on with this and get it in the right directory. So, what the two files we need to open is bow.json and the gulp file.js. And what we don't need is that Bourbon one anymore. We need bower.json, and we need that. And we also need to copy this over. Well, no, we need to copy the optional overrides. So we've got some override stuff going on here, which is part of the features of main bower files. It gives you the ability to make overrides, which I shall scroll down to here. So in my bower.json file, I can select the package and select what overrides to have. And you can also select different environmental differences. I haven't used this, but I have used this technique. So I have picked out a lot of files from like subdirectories. So we're pulling out everything from one thing and then it will just go into the other. And we're going to do just the same for Bourbon Neat. So where is Bourbon Neat? There's Neat. So let's take a look at its directory structure. See if they've. I'm thinking they've copied it. They've copied the directory structure from Bourbon. So apps, assets, style sheet. So we've got neat helpers as well. They must be like warnings and stuff. Okay. What have they got? We've got settings, disable warnings, okay. Cool, so we do need everything from here. So we do need that one, but we need to change this one to neat. And then duplicate that, and then put neat helpers. And obviously rename it to, where is he? Down here. Neat. Make sure we've got our comma separations because that always messes things up. So we've got these, and now we need to take a risk with this because we need to make sure, we need to test. Oh, we're going to have to test this out because what's going to happen is Gulp is going to go, oh, you want them all in the SAS directory? Yeah, sure, I'll put them in the SAS directory, all top levels of the SAS directory. So we can at least rename this to SAS. And we've got JS here, but we need to tell the SAS task to pick out which ones to go into what directory. So we need to differentiate the Bourbon stuff from the neat stuff. So hopefully this main bower files gulp dependency can help us out with this. I'm just going to take a drink. I've got tea. Change from water. Right. See, they've got a base option here, but it's not the paths. You can specify paths where the following bower files are located. If a string is supplied instead, it will become the base path for default paths. For example, path for project, bower directory, bower cc, bower JSON, paths. So you can supply it with a path. You can specify paths where the following bower specific files are located. We need a way to work out what goes where, or what is coming from where. Oh, hang on. I need to turn my do not disturb on so I don't get bothered. Right. We could possibly filter out where Bourbon is and where this is becoming quite difficult for my mind on how to do this. Let's do a quick search on how to do this. Gulp, copy, component, directory, structure. Flatten glob down to one directory. I like to have all these files wind up in one directory side by side, or rather have an entire tree created from the components directory. Maybe we can do something about like choosing the path. This could be interesting. I'm guessing they're looking at this to pick it out. Bower RC. You can specify the paths where the following bower specific files are located. Bower components, bower.cc, bower.json. If a string is supplied instead, it will become the base path for default paths. For example, base. What's base? You've got a flat folder file structure after pipe. Bower main files returns an array of files where each file is relative path without any globs. Gulp requires globs in these paths to apply the base path. Because of this, you always have to tell Gulp your Bower base path, the path to the Bower components directory explicitly. Here is an example. Interesting. Okay, so you have to. So I could copy the directory structure. What you want to do with these files. So let's try it. What we can do is we can create a new task. Create an entirely new task to test this out. How are we doing for time? 20 minutes already. We're going to call this task test. And we're going to filter the SAS files. We don't actually need to filter out the SAS files. We can filter it by just looking at the source. Return Bower. And they're using Bower main files. So options, we'll ignore options. Then we shall give it a base. Colon. Single quotes. Path to Bower components. So dot, and dot is the root. Bower.components, or Bower_components, sorry. Which is right. And the destination is SAS, but we can always put test. So we can send it to test and see what it does. We don't need this. I wonder what this will do. In fact, let's put that filtering back in, just for good measure. Gulp. Test. Okay, it was successful. Looking for a test directory. I don't see it. Yes, there's yeses. Whoa, this is some odd stuff. Let's do get status. Maybe it couldn't pick any out. Let's try taking this out entirely. Gulp test. Test. Bourbon. App. Assets. Style sheet. Da 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 da. Okay. Okay, well, we've pulled out the top level of them, which is interesting. Now, what do we got here? Bower main files returns an array of files where each file is a relative path without any globs. So I'm assuming globs means directory structure. Gulp requires globs in these paths to apply a base path. Because of this, you will always have to tell Gulp your Bower base path, the path to the Bower components directory, explicitly. Here's an example. Do you know what? I'm starting to think that it might not be so bad to just dump them all into the SAS directory as is, in the hope that they won't collide with each other. But if they do collide with each other, then we've got a problem. But it's worth having a go. Let's remove test. And we're going to... What I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to have a look in here to see what is named as what. Okay. It doesn't appear that they're having got any files that collide with each other. So in theory, we could whack everything into SAS and never look at it, and just leave everything in there, because the site wouldn't be running these files. It would just be the resulting CSS file, which would actually be in here and then this, and that would be it. And also, Bourbon does not explicitly get pulled in. It's just neat. Oh, it's just bitters that gets pulled in. Everything else is mix independent, so you can just use them when you want. So you only get the essential styles. It's almost like these are just libraries. I've not been thinking about it like that, actually. They're just libraries, so you're not even using any of them. All we're doing is putting them in a bookcase, and we can take pages out whenever we want, or read pages whenever we like. So we don't need to worry about where they're coming from. We just need to put them into the SAS directory. Yes. Let's see what happens when we try that command. So let's put this up here and then put Finder down here so we can see. So Gulp, SCSS. Kaboom. Everything under the sun. We don't care what the how they're structured. The only files that do care are Bourbon, and that is the other issue we have, is the imports where they go /settings. then slash prefixer, because if we scroll down here, prefixer is at top level. So we need to find and replace imports, which we can do with another gulp task. And that gulp task is I have completely forgotten. It's taken away all my thunder. Oh, it was on the I used it on the base kit one. Gulp replace. How amazingly complicated. Gulp replace. I thought I left it open so I could get back to it. But yeah, all this does is a simple string replace for like pieces of text in a file. And it sounds really like, oh, why are you changing files like that? Why are you editing them on the fly? And doing like bulk find and replace almost. If it works, then it works. And also we get updates without any problems. We're not looking at those files. We don't need to worry about how ugly they might be, as long as they are all working, because we're not the people editing those files. The files that we should be editing is our own, not theirs. So we just, it's like compression. It's like different ways of compressing something. Is as long as if you're squeezing it hard enough, it doesn't necessarily matter, as long as it's got all, you have all the accessibility there and all the links to pick off, then fine. So let's do it. I'm gonna have another drink. Okay. First thing to do is to install this with npm. So gulp install, and it's gulp replace, and we save that. Great. Okay. Let's copy this line, and we'll call this replace. And it is called gulp replace. Let's use an example what they've done here. So we want to replace one thing into another thing. So the thing it's going to find is that. Let's try it out. So we've got a Sass filter, because we're filtering it away from the JavaScript. So we've got one foo thing going on here. I feel like it should be going like this, and then this. So then we've got one thing turning it into another thing. And the two things that we want to find and replace is, if I can find the Bourbon file, is this string here. But we need to make sure we can do a wildcard. Where's links to the repository? Oh, that's better. Cool. Replace. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to look at this, how I did it in the other one. I've got here, I used octagons for project, and I needed to replace it because it was using this font URL method, which is apparently a part of sprockets, and I just wanted it to use the regular URL. So that's what I did. So close that. Examples. But I want to wildcard it. Can I wildcard it like that? Well, it did something. Now, 36 minutes in. Okay, well, we're gonna have a break there. I'm going to stop this recording, and that means that we've got it a little bit shorter than usual. 36 minutes. I don't want to get up to the 40-minute mark again because then I keep going off on a tangent. But what we're going to do is we are going to work out a way to do this. It might possibly be this interesting dot 3 curly braces method where it's a certain string method or some series of backslashes, but we will work it out, and we shall work it out in the next video. So I will see you then.